where I wanted to be. I haven't succeeded at any.
I'm so sorry I voted for Trump. I didn't know he was going to take away Social Security from 150-year-olds. That he was going to defund trans operas in Colombia. If I had known, I would not have voted for him.
A lot of the white Americans, they are admitting the fact that they made a mistake when they went out to the ballot and voted Trump into power. Many of them are admitting that fact. And you know, there is nothing that makes me feel good when somebody makes a mistake and then you admit you made a mistake, okay? Because when somebody makes a mistake and then you're like, oh, you don't want to agree, you made a mistake or something like that, it becomes, that's a very irritating character. So when people make mistake and they admit that we made mistakes, that's good, you see, because we will not be actually maybe condemning people who are not wrong or something, because the people who made mistakes, they admitted they did. And you know, let me agree, maybe they were lied to and maybe they did not understand what it really was by the American dream. Maybe the American dream is not what they thought it was. Maybe it was another different dream that they didn't know. Maybe the fall of America was the American dream that they were being told about, because they were actually not, like, the American dream itself wasn't broken down for them. They were just told about the American dream, making America great again. That's what they were told. They were not told making America great in which way. Yeah, because even there can be a negative greatness, okay? Somebody can be great in a negative way, and things can also be considered great, but in a negative way. So they were not told in which way was it going to be made great. Okay, they're crying so much, and I don't know what we can do. What can we really do to really help them? Maybe they beg the black people because the black people are used to it. Maybe they can be able to teach them how to survive and all that. Take a look at this video. We shall come back and say something about it. Meanwhile, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to this channel if it's your first time to be here. For the returning subscribers, I really do appreciate you. Until then, let's take a look at the videos.
The black community has long suffered under the weight of systemic racism and discrimination. As white people, it is our responsibility to use our privilege to support and uplift the black community. Here are a few ways that we can be better allies. Listen and learn. We need to listen to black voices and experiences without interrupting or dismissing them. We should educate ourselves on the history of systemic racism and the ways that it continues to impact the black community today. We should seek out resources, books, and documentaries that help us understand the issues. Next, speak up. We should use our privilege to speak up against racism and discrimination. We should challenge racist comments and behaviors, even if it's uncomfortable. Silence that which perpetuates racism. We should support black-owned businesses in our communities. We should advocate for policies that support economic justice and equity. Donate to black-led organizations. Financially support black-led organizations that are working to address systemic racism and inequality. It can be done through regular contributions or contributing to certain campaigns and initiatives. We should also use our platforms for good as white people. We have access to platforms and audiences that the black community may not have. We should use our platforms to amplify black voices and perspectives, raise awareness about issues affecting the black community, and promote positive change. Be open to feedback and learning from our mistakes, as we will make mistakes along the way. But it's important to acknowledge them, apologize, and learn from them. We should be open to feedback and willing to change our behavior and perspectives as we continue to learn and grow. Being a better ally to the black community requires a willingness to listen, learn, and take action. It requires us to use our privilege for good, support black-owned businesses and communities, and speak up against racism and discrimination. It's up to all of us to work towards a more just and equitable society, and being a better ally is an important step. If you like
My husband and I are like beyond this whole racism nightmare that we are living here in the US. Every single problem is being blamed on a black or brown person. I'm so fucking tired of it. I can't. I grew up in LA. A cultural bounty of beauty. Brown, black, white, Asian, beautiful. I'm in East Tennessee. Don't ask how I got here because it's not good. This administration wants to completely get rid of anyone of color. And as a white person, I am disgusted. Disgusted. Sickened. Oh. I don't know when this happened. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how we missed it. How did so many people believe that Trump was going to be their savior? From what? And from what? I guess that's the bigger question. From what? Savior from what? What was so bad? What is wrong with these people? And here now we have so many kind of creeping out from under, the mushroom growing oak that say, oops, I made a mistake. And I'm torn. The compassionate me wants to say, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for finally knowing. And there's a fiery part of me that wants to say, fuck you. You got us here. You with your vote. You with your vote. You got us here.
This shit needs to be talked about right now because this is obviously a fucking problem. I ran into an older couple at the grocery store, okay? I started getting in a conversation with this man because he was in the Navy for over 25 years. My father, personally, he was in the Navy for over 30 years. So we obviously had a lot to talk about, you know what I mean? I don't mind talking to random people. I like to get to know people. I love humans in general. But then we get in the conversation of sports and he starts talking about the NFL coming up, right? And I was just trying to be honest with him when I told him that I like the NBA more than I like the NFL. I told him it seems more exciting nowadays because the NFL, to me, okay, this is my personal opinion, so I am entitled to it. But I said that it seems like it's scripted and that I'd even prefer watching baseball over it. And then all of a sudden, this turns into a racist conversation. He starts talking and he's like, oh, well, you don't like American sports? You'd rather watch those, you know what I mean? Just said the full N-word, full ER and everything. So immediately I was like, sir, I'm gonna need you to stop talking, okay? I'd rather just not have this conversation. I'm not racist, and if you prefer to be that way, then you can just get the fuck out of my way. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you say some shit like that in front of me, I'm going to say something. That is the most disrespectful fucking shit I've ever fucking heard in my life. Bro, do you not realize, people, there are black people in the NFL too? Like, what the fuck is an American sport? I've never heard that shit in my fucking life. This is one of the main reasons of why I don't prefer to live in the South. I have been all over the country, okay? I had the privilege, like I stated, I am a military brat, so I did have the privilege of traveling all over the country. Shit, I was even born in Spain, which ironically, I was reported to immigration services for. Which if anybody wants to try that shit again, I say go for it, because you could be included in the lawsuit going on right now too. But anyways, I have been all over the country, okay? And I can tell you right now, being in the South, there is so much motherfucking division down here. I'm honestly surprised that in 2025, racism like this still exists. That shit's ignorant as fuck. And nobody, when they hear shit like that, should remain silent. You need to stand your ground. You need to voice your opinion. Who the fuck cares that they're fucking old? Anyways, I just had to vent real quick because that shit really pissed me the fuck off. I don't care who the fuck you are. If you say some shit like that, you need to be corrected. I will never understand that shit. Growing up, part of my family was actually racist, but see, I taught myself how to have fucking morals, how to have respect, how to look past somebody's fucking skin color. Do you motherfuckers not realize that under this physical embodiment of a parasite of which we all call skin, we look the fucking same way anyway?
A sense of safety in my country, an understanding of the full history of America, a neighborhood where everyone feels comfortable and safe, a understanding that my grandchildren and my son-in-law or daughter-in-law will be safe in their home country. The idea that America works for all. These are all statements that have been recited to me and as a part of the Rare Woman Collective work. Rare Woman Collective, that is the racial equity program suite that we have for white women to teach them how to advance racial equity in every space they hold. One of the salient questions we ask of white women is, what has racism stolen from you? It's a powerful question, and it's an important question for you all, for white women, white people, to spend time excavating and interrogating, because one, you're often not asked that. I am certain that you are often not asked, what is racism stolen from you? But it begs the question that you probably haven't ever had to unpack. And the understanding that racism is a foe, it is a belief system, it is a societal construct, it is a belief, it is the protections of that belief that have always, if we're honest, always impacted and had consequences for all people who are around it, near it, experience it, or even adjacent to it, to include white people. Now, the acuity, how it affects black and brown people, is very different, clearly, but it's not as though we're not all unscathed. Racism is like the devil. It comes to seek and kill and destroy. It doesn't pay attention to who's in the way of it. It just knocks down and tears down and destroys and eviscerates. And we see that now, even as policy making is emanating from our nation's capital, from the very institutions that are built to protect us are killing us because of hate, because of fear, because of an understanding or belief system that black and brown are just inherently inferior human beings. And that presumption must be preserved at all costs. And when I say all costs, we are finally learning what all costs means to all people. So I want you to answer that question. What has racism stolen from you?
Man, I tell you what, nothing makes racist white people more pissed off than me, a white person, trying to educate about racism and trying to educate about what white privilege is and all these things. And it's so funny because these same people will argue with me till they are blue in the face about how they're not racist and we don't live in a racist institution and black and brown people have it so easy and racism doesn't exist anymore. But then they will turn around and say the most racist, ignorant, vile shit you've ever heard in your life. The disconnect is amazing. And this is why I make content like this, because it's so important, because we do live in a racist institution and we are all raised in racism as white people. This is simply a fact. And the crazy part about it is every one of us knows this. Even the ones who will sit there and fight with me to the death about it and act like it doesn't exist. Y'all know white people are racist. Y'all know about the casual racism, the casual microaggressions that we are raised in, no matter where we live in this United States of America. And this is why I will never stop. I will never stop trying to educate as a white person about racism and how we need to learn. We need to evolve. We need to do better. It's almost as if they feel like admitting to a racist institution or admitting to racism makes them this evil, terrible person. And so they would rather double down than to grow and be a good person. And that's so bad, because all that says to me is that you have a small mind and a cowardly soul. And I wish better for you than that, truly, because everything in your life will get better when you stop being so ignorant.
do white people pretend not to know and understand, or do they really genuinely believe that they are not complicit and or benefiting from past and present practices of racism? They really can't see it? Growing up as a white person in a hyper-individualistic society that was constructed as a racial caste system, you really have no concept of this idea that you are complicit or benefit from systemic racism. And it's not just socially and politically fortified, it's also deeply ingrained in our education system and in our religious practices and theology. See, I grew up in the 80s and 90s essentially being taught that Martin Luther King Jr. ended racism. And you cannot underestimate the significance of growing up in church and learning that your personal Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, forgave you for your individual sins so that you could go to heaven when you die. So not only is racism dead, but you're only responsible for your individual sins, which are basically disobeying your parents, fighting with your siblings, or swearing on occasion. Nowhere in the framework of growing up white in the United States do we have a conversation about complicity or benefiting from the racial caste system. So when we get older and we start to hear it, that immediate defensiveness kicks in because we feel accused as though we are personally responsible for all of the racism that's happened in the United States. Now, to be clear, this is not to provide excuses for anybody, but I'm confident that the vast majority of white folks that grow up in this country have no concept of the systems that are alive here. And that, among many other reasons, is why it's so important that we deconstruct whiteness and Christianity.
So I had a lot of white people in my comments asking, what happens if I cry after being called out for a racist remark or a microaggression? And what happens if I'm super emotional? So let's get into it. I'd first like to pose a genuine question to white people. Why are you crying after being called out? Take a minute, think about it, pause. Now that you're back, I'm gonna guess that you're crying probably because you're feeling a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, probably a little bit of anger at yourself, maybe some sadness. Yeah, like am I somewhere on the base? And those are totally valid emotions to have, like 100%. Like you can have those emotions. It is simply none of our business. As people of color, after you heard us, it is literally none of our business what emotions you're feeling. And you have to work that out on your own. What happens after you commit a microaggression or you make a racist remark? Us as people of color, we're hurt. We're human, so we're hurting and we're in distress. And what we need you to do is to listen to how you harmed us and need you to listen to how we are doing. And you just need to shut up and listen that whole entire time. And what we're not gonna do is center how you're feeling in that moment after you've hurt us. And what happens when you start crying is that you are letting us know that you're feeling guilty, sad, angry, any of those emotions, and suddenly you are centering yourself, and this conversation can go no further. Because what happens when you're crying is you're not listening to us. You are feeling your emotions in that moment and you're working them through. And you can do that on your own time, but not while we're actively hurting. We are in distress, and when you are crying, you're not listening to our needs. You're not tending to our needs. You are tending to your own. And you are doing that in front of a person of color, and you are taking up space. And now they have to take time off. We have to take up time off from our hurt to listen to your tears and your crying and your sobbing and your whimpering. And it is pathetic. And it is so harmful because you're letting us know that you feel like your emotions are more important in that moment. I don't care what your thoughts are. I don't care if you're like, no, I care about emotions. No, because once you start crying, you are centering your emotions. You don't care about us. I know a lot of y'all are like, but I get super emotional. I cry over little things. Like, how can I control this? Suck it up. Suck it the fuck up. Trust me, you can. I've had to do it. After microaggression and racist remark, I've had to suck it up while I watch white people cry because they feel bad that they've hurt me, but I didn't even get the chance to cry about how hurt I was. It's not okay for you to start crying, because why is your hurt more important than mine? Why do you get to process your hurt after you hurt me? It's not okay. Comments like these make me genuinely concerned because y'all are aware that your white tears are damn.
I made a video about my father, and I stated, look at a hardworking American man. I never mentioned race. I never mentioned politics. I didn't mention anything other than just what a hardworking American man he was. And yet here we have comments like this from a professional victim. Nobody mentioned race. Please, please explain to me how my father, who has worked his butt off his entire life for everything he's ever needed and wanted, literally works his butt off. Please tell me how we've benefited from slavery. I'll wait. I mean, I'll be here a while because you're never going to give a correct answer. Because we didn't. We have worked our butts off for everything we have, just as you can. I actually feel sorry for you. Like, at first, that really irritated me, and I'm not irritated anymore. I feel bad for you. Honestly, I do, because you are so stuck in that mindset that is holding you back from everything. There's two people that have made things hard for you in your life. The first one is you, because you live with that mindset. You are the only person holding yourself back from achieving anything that you want to. The second person holding you back is whoever taught you that you are being held back, or that you're a victim, or that you're not given the same opportunities to go out and work at what you want. Those are the only two people that have ever gotten in your way. Yourself and whoever put that mindset in you that you couldn't achieve everything that you wanted to. Have a good day, sir.
I remember when I had that kind of awakening. I'm not in my 40s. I am a little bit over my mid 30s, but I had that realization and that awakening, I'd say closer to my late 20s, early 30s. You wake up out the matrix, and I call this a spiritual awakening because, like, you wake up one day and you're like, what am I doing? I'm chasing after this superficial, not real narrative of all these markers of success. All of these markers that's been shoved down our throat. And she's in her 40s, so we're on the same time frame of where this narrative was literally like beaten into us of go to college, get in a relationship, get a house, create a family, work, then retire, and then like you did good. You're a good, solid American. The problem with that is that our society no longer has a container for that. So we're chasing after this checklist. We're chasing after these markers to identify ourselves as successful people when they're no longer attainable. So you have people, millennials mainly, in my generation who are losing their crap and have to redefine what happiness and success means to them. And that's all she needs to do. She's woken up, she's going to feel anger, she's going to feel sadness, she's going to feel all of these icky emotions, but she's going to have to rebuild her story. So if this is you, you are not a failure. Society has failed us. And now it's our job to take back our narrative and create a life that is meaningful to us, that is not measured by external markers, but by internal validation. That's it. You're doing great. I can follow for more.
So I'm out on patrol and I'm thinking a lot about privilege, and I want to talk to white people about that word and why I don't think it's scary, an insult, or some commentary on who I am as a person. See, white people, we see it through a white lens. We use it to describe one kind of person. Someone born into a life of wealth, ease. They don't have to worry about the basics, went to good schools, have nice houses. So when someone says to us, you're privileged, or use your privilege, it can feel like a judgment, an accusation even, that like you don't work hard, you don't struggle, your life's been easy. But for a person of color, there's not just one factor that makes a person privileged. Privilege is being able to walk around and just exist without needing to be hyper aware and constantly checking to see if you're safe. Being somewhere and not needing to ask, do they see me as a threat? Am I about to be hurt because of that? Women, I know you understand that feeling. Now imagine the threat is coming from everywhere. Privilege is not feeling an undertone of fear every single day. Privilege is being able to tune out the world as it burns down around you because it doesn't actually affect your daily life. Personally, I could tune out, binge terrible TV, do white girl yoga, and mimosa brunch till I die. I have the privilege to do that. These policies don't affect me. So why am I out here? Why am I asking others who look like me to show up and use their privilege and help right now? Because there are people who do not have that privilege. They're cornered and they're scared and they are begging us to help them. They're begging us. Because I do have power as a white woman in America. even if I didn't do anything to earn that power. I have it, and I get to decide how to use it. When someone says to me, use your privilege, I hear that as, Katie, use your power. And I choose to use that power, that privilege, to help people. If we just stay at home and do nothing, we are complicit in what's happening and whatever comes next. If we stay silent, if we tune out and pretend it all away, then we have used our privilege to terrorize, kidnap, and ultimately kill people, to take away the basic freedoms that make this America. I mean, even if she's broken, she's ours. I'm using my privilege right now because these policies don't target me. Not yet. Because right now, white women, we have power. We have a voice. It has not been taken from us. It is being taken from them. It is a privilege to be in a position to help people. If speaking up could save someone's life, would you do it? While I'm able, I'm going to use my privilege to help those with less power and less privilege than me. I'm asking you to think about how you will use yours.
Now, as you're speaking right now, the Black Americans are not only going silent, they are not only keeping quiet on the white Americans who are complaining, suffering, and crying, they are also exiting America. They are exiting America in a very large numbers, coming back to the motherland because they feel like this is the place where we are supposed to be. Listen, for years, the black communities have worked for the white communities in their lands, in their shops, in their workplaces, everywhere. They've been providing labor for many years because I think when they see black people, they see labor. When black people were taken to Europe countries during the transatlantic slave trade, they were taken there to simply go and work for the white people. And that's what they've been doing for years. So they were taken like the workers. So when the white people would see them, they would see laborers, okay? And right now, you see these the action of doing labor and all that, it made them strong. They were not doing labor, they were not providing labor and in return being given something important or something great. They were just being mistreated. Okay, this mistreatment, the white people, they thought maybe, these people, we are mistreating them to make them feel bad. Yes, some of them are feeling bad. Many of them were complaining, they were crying for their rights, but on the other hand, they were becoming more stronger. Now, the same treatment that the black community has been getting from the white community. Now, the white community are getting the same treatment from their fellow white people. What goes around always comes around. Now, it's not the black people who are mistreating them. It is their fellow white people that they chose by themselves who are mistreating them. That's why they're crying. It's good because it's not the black people who are avenging. It is God who is avenging for the black people. Now that's the God of the black people working, the God of blacks at work. Okay? Right now, the white community wishing they would never have done so to the black community because they feel like the black community is just comfortable, they're just okay, they're just living better and things are happening in a better way on their sides. And they feel like, we need to live or want to live like the black community. Why is it that the black community are not crying? They're not going through the same shit we're going through. They're not struggling or going through the same problems you're going through. Probably we need to maybe ask them or to show us. Yeah, but how will they do that? You see, it is not that the black community are not suffering. They are both in an American country. And you see, right now, the people who are used to this kind of problems, a little heat is hitting the white Americans and they're feeling like they're dying. But the black community, this is what they've been going through. The white community has made them to be stronger, yeah, and have experiences on how to mingle on difficult moments and hard times and come out successfully. They are used to it, okay? They have skills, they have tactics on how to do that, okay? And right now, you see, the fact that the white community are accepting that fact, it's even showing that things are happening in a very, very, very dangerous way. Sometimes you have to confess, I made a mistake for you to be saved. So I don't know who's going to save the white community right now. I'm not praying that they should be going through the same problem or for them to suffer. I'm only wondering who's going to save them, because those people who are supposed maybe to have saved them at this time, they mistreated them some time back. And you can't get help to somebody you mistreated or to somebody you treated bad some time back. You can't expect help from this kind of a person. You see, if things get worse, the black community can shift to their real land, which is Africa, Now, where are the white community going to escape from? Where will they go to? That is God at work. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I'll do my best to make sure I read the comments and give a response where possible. I am the Black Empire. Thanks for watching. Welcome back again. Make sure you subscribe, like, press the notification bell, share the video if possible. Be the first person to get every episode that comes in. Welcome back again to the Black Empire. Thanks for watching.